Please welcome 6'7" from Kansas, the captain and the truth, number 34, Paul Pierce.
Oh, man. You know, thank you guys so much. You know, you have people along this journey. You don't know why they're in your life. I didn't realize it until the journey was over. And I was able to be around some very special people. A lot of them are in here tonight. These are people who I feel that are very instrumental at me getting here today. My mother, she's a single parent, 3 boys, hardworking. She sacrificed, she loved, she did anything she could. Mom, you made me the man I am today. And I appreciate that. My first inspiration were my 2 brothers, Jamal and Steve. You guys inspired me. I wanted to be just like you. I wanted to go to school, play sports. I thank you guys for being that inspiration.
I did my best to provide a good example for him and what I did with sports. And so if I added to that, hey, it's all good. But he's the one that went out and did it, man. It's all him.
My boy, Jason Crow, is right here. This is my best friend right here. He has an Inglewood jersey. I played Inglewood High with him. He wound up having a 10-year pro career overseas.
That's how joint we are. Like, he may see me have success on a small scale, and it just pushes him forward. And I see him have success on his big scale, and it pushed me forward.
We pushed each other, and we made each other better. And so, man, thank you, bro. You know, thank you. Another guy in my neighborhood, Scott Collins, who is here today, a local police officer.
All the kids I coach, Paul included, I mean, I feel like are my kids. These are my kids. I mean, I love them, and I really do love them. I care for them, and I'll be for them anytime.
Thank you, Scott, for being a friend, a mentor, a father figure. He's in the house tonight. Thank you so much. This is the beginning. It starts at home. It starts where you come from.
Inglewood was very rough back then. Very, very rough. You know, you have drive-bys and you have
Gang activity, a lot of drug activity at the time. It was a very busy city, I would say.
Under pressure, I'm a killer. Come and get your tickets to a bona fide thriller. Cold chiller, there isn't nothing realer. Keeping them addicted to the mass, I a pillar. Heroin through the airwaves, call me.
Most young men struggle with decision making. It's a battle from within.
Paul was going to do something. He was always active. He wanted to be involved in different things.
And at that time, gangs were kind of the in vogue thing to do. The movies, The Boys in the Hood, The Colors. These were things that we gravitated to. We saw this as something big, you know, that we wanted to be a part of.
Burning like a flame with these lyrics in your brain.
So, you know, to keep a kid away from all that, you have to be very watchful. His mother was very conscious of having him be mentored by men that had the authority to do it, had the capacity to do it, and were respected.
With his mother pushing him to take part in more organized programs, Paul joined the Police Activities League, where he met Scott Collins, an Inglewood police officer who would become one of Paul's mentors.
The Forum is right there in the middle of the city. So going on all around it, you got some of the rough streets. But what do the kids look up to? Even you're on rough streets, what are your dreams? You're dreaming about playing here one day, playing at the Forum. You know, that's your dream.
Collins would organize 5:30 a.m. morning sessions.
I decided, hey, maybe get some of the kids together to come in the gym before school, before I went to work, and work on their game. Paul was one of the main ones. He always was talking about he wanted to get in the gym, wanted to get in early. Instead of being out there on the streets doing something negative, you're in here trying to work on your game, and maybe it's going to take you somewhere.
Paul didn't have the father, so he provided that fatherly image.
So I'd open my door. If you need somewhere to be, it's here. You need something to eat, you're here. You need some money, I got you.
So he really invested in us, and we're very grateful. Inglewood High School at the time, enrollment was up. It was 2,400 students. And you go to a tryout at Inglewood High School, there's 300 kids in the bleachers to play basketball. We were both on JV at the same time, and that's where we bonded, was there. That experience of like being on the bottom and making the team, you know, so then he goes to varsity. He's getting 0 minutes.
We had some seniors that were on the squad. I thought it was a whole lot better than him.
He talked to me about it. He wasn't happy. He wanted to play. He felt he could play, and he wanted to transfer to Crenshaw.
His mom told him, you know, go make your team better. You know, you don't need to go where there's a better team.
Why don't you make Inglewood better? Put Inglewood on the map if you want to do something.
I told him his time will come. You know, I say, you know, just stick with it. And he did.
It was about putting in the work and, you know, competing.
Rogers Park was a place that you sort of had to get your battle scars.
I might go get a tattoo, Rogers Park. Seriously, because so many memories. Rogers Park was a place you go, and it was a rite of passage. We had Steve Smith come by there, Harold Miner. You got a chance to play against adults, and you come out there and you learn to play kind of like pressure basketball right there.
Playing with older guys and really driving that competitiveness in him was awesome.
So it built our character as competitors. For us to grow up there and be able to elevate ourselves to where we got respect there young, that made us believe that we can do things at our high school.
We had a Christmas tournament, and we had 3 of our starters who actually went on vacation. So I had no other alternative but to bring Paul Pierce up to that team.
He played him inside. He had grew to 6'5".
And he kept the attitude that he could go inside or outside.
And he goes for 20 points 3 days in a row.
And Paul never got out of the lineup from there.
I mean, it was no looking back for him, and I was like, Patrick, what are you doing? Because this kid can flat out play basketball.
In Paul's junior year, he led the Sentinels to a 30-win season and a division title.
One point in time, we was up in Las Vegas, and I was speaking with him, and I said, Paul, you know, watching you play, watching your development, I said, you have a chance to really do something special. I said, you're NBA bound.
I remember us talking growing up, and we never talked about pro. We never did. We just talked about being the best we can be and giving ourselves a chance to go to college.
My older brother being involved, and then Paul getting to see both of us and see what we've done
So he's got, something to look up to, something to shoot for, because they've set the bar for him. So what are you going to do now?
As a senior, Paul Pierce became the #1 high school prospect in the state of California, earning him a spot in the 1995 McDonald's All-American game.
I remember at one particular game, Roy Williams came in, he said, "Paul, I can be anywhere in the country right now, but I wanted to make sure that I'm here to let you know how important that you are to the Jayhawk family."
My brother and I would tell him, you don't go where you want to go. You go where they want you. So he listened to that and he went to Kansas.
From the type of coach Roy Williams was, I thought it was a great fit.
It was the best thing for his career to go to the University of Kansas.
I always felt he was the best player on the team from the minute he stepped on the floor. Even though he might not have got the notoriety, but he was already the best player. He already showed glimpses. You go to his junior year now, his last home game was against Oklahoma. He stole the ball at half court and went down for a dunk. And then I remember the next day when I left, I looked on the sports page the next morning when I'm flying back home, and I see the dunk. And I look in the paper, and right in the same picture, I'm in the background. You can see me and his mother standing there with our arms raised. And then he had a point where he went on a run and hit like 6 shots in a row in that game.
He's in the zone right now. I think you can put a blindfold on him. Pierce.
And, those were special times. I felt him now, next step, going to the pros. I thought he could be one of the greatest small forwards ever.
For the second time in 4 years, the NBA draft has taken us north of the border. Tonight it's Vancouver, British Columbia, and the home of the Grizzlies, General Motors Place.
Draft night, we were all there at the table waiting for his name to be called.
Knowing how he prepared and had excellent workouts, we knew he was going to be a top 5 pick.
He thought he would go 3rd, and we all did.
Clippers took Aloe Candy, Vancouver took Bibby. At the 3rd pick, the camera was at our table and at Rafe LaFrance's table, which was right across from us. So it was like, uh-oh, who are they picking? And then Denver picked LaFrance.
And each time it wasn't called, you agonized.
And I walked up to Paul, whispered in his ear. I said, "Hey, man, I know you're hurting, but all those teams that passed you, you get to see them on the floor. Take it out on them then."
With the 10th pick in the 1998 NBA draft, the Boston Celtics select Paul Pierce from the University of Kansas.
And he vowed, those 9 teams that didn't pick me, I'm going to beat all of them when I run across them.
Everyone was another log on the fire for him that fueled his competitiveness.
But when he got drafted to the Celtics, it was just like exciting because it was like, wow, the Celtics. When he could have went to a franchise that had no history, no legacy, and he ended up going to one of the great franchises of all time.
Man, you're going to be in Boston, around Red, around Bill Russell, Heinsohn, all these guys that are still around the team.
I think Boston was big. I think that was the place he needed to be. Boston was one of the best places in the world to be a basketball player.
Inglewood colors were green and white, so when he got drafted and went to Boston, I said, dude, nothing changed. You're still in the green and white, so you're comfortable.
So much history, so much pride in that organization till he couldn't help but be a success there. It was just a great opportunity.